And we are up and running. Hey, greetings everybody. This is Wesley Pepper. This is the Art Lexcia podcast. We're recording episode 112 today, and it's close. We well into April, so yeah. If you survive 2023 to April so far, congratulations to you. It's been a hell of a year. Everybody knows that. So if you survive so far, you know you're doing something right. And you're obviously listening to the dopest art-based podcast, at least in South Africa, and I've said that a bunch of times. Just before I get into my guest today, just a few things. I made another announcement about Gallery 360 Africa, I think 2 weeks ago, and we were supposed to actually publish on I think Monday. But there was another postponement, so that's why nobody heard anything, and I had no social media posts about it, anything. The developers are actually fixing up something on the user app, but it's not to do with the functionality, it's more just aesthetics. I don't have no control over that stuff, so I just gotta wait for the developers. But MLab and I decided there is a plan and this and that, but the app is working. It's just I've got no control over that. So that's the one thing. The other thing also, I also started to create more. I started to create YouTube. What's that? All the YouTube shorts will be on our YouTube page, which is the Art Lexcia podcast at YouTube. So those are like 60-second videos. I've got some views already, but I'm gonna start promoting that through the course of the weekend and such. So yeah, I'm gonna do it to this episode, to all the episodes actually. And that's the one thing. And that's the last point I have. The African Genius series, African Genius podcast series is still ongoing. Wesley's published an episode earlier on this week, and we've got some really interesting guests and some interesting stuff lined up. So the African Genius podcast, also, as you guys know, is also on my channel. The collaboration with the brother Sal Akebula from Texas. So look forward to that. And there's some really cool stuff. We got an episode where we talk about Amapiano. We critical and agree with it, but look forward to that. I'll publish that next week, Wednesday. And as you guys can see, it's close to winter and all that shit, so it's gonna get cold and blah 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 blah, all that stuff. That's it. Oh yeah, and remember the Art Lexcia, the email address is theartlexcia.podcast@gmail.com if there's anybody who wants to give me a shout for anything. Or you can find me on my YouTube Facebook page. I'm talking to an old friend of mine, an old guest on the show. I think it's for the third or second time he's been on here. Thabo Motseki, my king. First and foremost, good morning. How you doing? And welcome to the Art Lexcia. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Kepase. Old friend of mine.
I'm a huge fan of his work. If you guys follow me on any of the social media platforms, you'll see that. Tabo's got a new show coming out. It's called 535 Phakedi Street Money is Bigger Than God. That's a sick title, first and foremost. That title is sick. It's actually quite poetic, because when I read it, I had my own I saw various images and stuff like that in my head. Let's first start there, man. Just tell our listeners about the show. I mean, it's taking place at the Art Room in Parkhurst, and we'll give more details as the recording goes on. Also just the listeners, we are in Thabo Studio, so we will be looking at some of the work and probably looking at some of the processes and techniques and so forth. So that's going to be really exciting. So, my brother, let's start at the beginning, man. 535 Phakedi Street Money is Bigger Than God. Dope ass title. How did you tell us about the title and about the concept, and we'll just unpick it bit by bit after
that. Wow. It's quite exciting, especially to talk about the title, because the title carried on, the inspiration and the reasoning of titling the show about that, it comes from a personal experience,
Sure.
And it comes from the journey. And more than anything, it was more like a frustration of what I'm going through, as a good citizen of South Africa. Things are harder, you try everything, things are getting harder. But now I had to reflect back to where I come from. Phakedi, 535 Phakedi Street, money is bigger than God. It's personalized statement. So I put it, money is bigger than God, in a context. So I moved this big name, God is bigger than God, to 535. So it's like it's more like I took a giant and then make it smaller and then put it into the house. So what happened is I converted the gallery to be a home, to be 535.
Okay.
There is a piece that I've created in an exhibition. It's a staff. It's what my grandfather left for my mother. It's a so it's more like our legacy.
Thabo, the sound is just fluctuating a bit there. Yeah, the sound is busy fluctuating there. Just got a bit soft. But from what I heard you said, I get it. Just tell us, like, 535 Phakedi Street, is that your home address?
I lost you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of a can you hear me now?
All right.
Yeah, these things happen often, unfortunately, and it's to do with the bullshit load shedding. I'm sure some tower got knocked out somewhere. That's why, I always tell the guests my listeners, that these things happen, so please just bear with us. I usually just pause, when there's a break or whatever. And I'll try to edit it out as well. My brother, I was going to ask you, like, is Phakedi Street, is that your house? Is that your house, your residential address?
Yeah. Yeah, if I can, let me just introduce. I'm from Free State, Masilo Cheneze. The house, it's 535, and then Phakedi Street is the street. So this family, it's a Christian family. It's I'm with Phakedi Street. I am telling the story of the entire family and the generations before us and the generations after, and then I am in between, and the Christian side of the family is the one that influenced or sparked the idea of the theme. So one other thing that I want people to understand is that I nearly became a priest. My mom, and my mom at the moment, she's a big elder of the church. So, and then the theme, it's influenced by conversation that I had with my mother. She gave me a A4 paper that written a family tree. So she wanted me to portray that. So instead of portraying it, then I started looking at this family tree, and I saw, the entire family, passing in front of me. And then what I question is that, what did everyone leave behind? It's more like about the legacy. It's about what they lived for. And then when I questioned her, then I realized that we all live for death, So, and there was 8 of them. She's the only person left in the family. And then everyone passes the same way, same experience, same journey, same culture, but the only thing that they live is their name. And then in the generation to come, they live with poverty. There is a struggle. Right now, if I were to start a business, you don't have anything that it's a base for us that we can start working from. You know, then I start questioning my mother and say, why are we still practicing the same culture that it doesn't benefit back to us? You know, so and what I said to her is that there's nothing bigger than God. You know, so I personalized man is bigger than God and put it into a context. So I moved it to the public and put it in 535. And then when you move to the exhibition, you realize that you are in 535. Then you'll meet everyone that is being a part of that film, you know. So when I was making research, I started realizing, because it was a bit of interesting findings, you know, that when God he created heaven and earth, and then created a human after. So he created a platform where the human can live from. You know, he created all the basics, he created all the things that literally we need to live from it. So, but all of those things, they now converted into currency. Human, they no longer have access to that, you know. So now the focus started to shift from focusing to God, but focusing on the need, you know. So the land, it's created by God, but now for people, but now people don't have that access anymore towards that. So then I started realizing that instead of living, we are surviving, right? And now that it's a question that also go to the system, because of now the system stayed in the position of becoming God, right? Yeah. Because of now the system, it's people, and people, they own things, and people, they control things, and now they become more like image of God, you know. So, and then this 535 came in that sense that we have to start shifting our focus and then try to understand what is really going on within the film, because it's a fifth generation right now, and then I saw things are hectic at home, so I had to find a tool to communicate, you know, my frustration. So the exhibition is a reflection of my feedback to the entire film, right? So I used a thumbprint as a representations of our ancestors. And then I created a sculpture with 5 dimensions reflecting 5th generations of the family. And then now looking at how the situation are at home as a family. So things are still the same as my mom was born and those who came before her. And then the situation is also the same with us. And now it's just a matter of that particular question. Now we are a Christian family, we are a praying warriors, we're doing everything perfectly, but we're the most suffering family. You know, you are the most struggling family. So now I was imposing this question to my mother because she's the only person left in the entire family. There was 8 of them, she's the only person left in the entire family. And so you're still doing the same thing the way they've been happening before. And then where does everything leave us as the current generation and the future generations? So can we just sit as a family and find a way? So I created a coin, which is a reflection of myself, responding to the entire situation of the entire family.
Wow. Just a few points there that I picked up. Firstly, it's very brave. I think it's pretty brave in an honest kind of way. We're living in 2023, and we're living in an age where facts don't matter, and you know how you look on Instagram matters. To go that deep and become that personal, I think that's heavy. That's heavy. That journey must have been something. And I also dig the whole, also like what you were saying about the business thing. I've got the same issue in my family. There's also very little legacy outside of basically just words and maybe a house and stuff like that. I think that's also something that Black families across, in fact, probably across the continent can relate to. So I think that also, at least from my perception, that makes the work relatable. And thanks for sharing that with us. You made mention there of the thumbprint, and that I also saw in a whole host of the artworks. You said just explain to us the conceptual nature around the thumbprint. Whose thumbprint is it? And why a thumbprint? I mean, there's the hand. There's various parts of the body that one can also use. Why thumbprint? Also, I would just say visually, um, yeah, it's there's something there. So just explain that a little bit to us.
Yes, quite interesting question because the entire exhibition is a drawing of thumbprints, and there are two types of prints. It's the spiritual prints and the physical prints. So
Okay.
the spiritual prints is the print that come from deceased people already passed. And then the physical print is the existing people. This is how I differentiated the thing. So when you enter into the exhibition, I did an installation. So the installation is the installation about old chairs that was used by my grandmother and my grandfather. It's a his and hers chairs. You can also relate when you see those chairs. The other one is blue, the other one is a bit white, and then and I used their symbols, what they used when they were still alive, which is a blanket on the chair, and sleeping shoes. And then there is a tapete, and I created more like a house setup. So the idea of the images, visually where they come from the old chair, because those chairs, they carries all the history, all the generation
I
passes,
get it.
all of
I get it.
them, they touches those
Dope.
chairs,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if you come, you visit as a visitor, we give you a chair, you open the chair, then you leave your prints on that chair. And the generation to generation to generation to generation, they've been touching the very same chair. So the reflection of the images, they come from the installation. Hence, I'm saying they're still with us, spiritually through their prints, because of they are all in those chairs. And the way I portrayed those images, I used their spaces where they lived from and entitled the images about that. So, for example, my grandfather, he had 5 siblings. There was 3 girls and 2 boys, and then all of them, they got married and they lived in different spaces. And then 3 sisters, one of them, he lived in Soweto. One of the images titled Soweto. It's where he moved to and got married, and then he started his family, and the other one is in Free State, Seneca, and the other one is Tabanchu. And my grandfather and his brother, they were both in the same place, in Free State, Tennessee. So then I named them with the street, and one of the street is Phakedi Street, which is representing my grandfather. And then in 19, it's the older brother. So, and then there is other images where I use an animal skin and the thumbprint together. Because my grandfather used to own animals. He was a wealthy man. He had land, he had shops, he had animals. So, and he lost those things when he contributed to the church, because he built the church. And then he helped the community. Then everything disappeared. You don't even know what happened with family wealth. So it's one of the things that also reflect into the exhibition. What happened with family wealth that was supposed to benefit generations to come, But now the family, because the focus was serving God, being church, giving, they were kind. So after my grandfather lost everything, no one had an ability to, to find a way to regain everything that family lost. So the exhibition is about my grandfather built the church, helped the community, everything disappeared after that. And then no one had any guard to rebuild, the next generation.
Okay, yeah, I mean the line is just breaking up here, just to the listeners.
So one of the images that I created, it's a coin with myself. So do you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm just gonna turn off my video just for a while, just to save bandwidth, so that the audio is still a bit clearer. But you can continue, please. Just to the listeners, I think there's another break in there. Thabo, are you still there?
All right. Yes. So,
okay, yeah, just bear with me there. Sorry for 1 second. I see my connection is down. Yeah, just bear with me. The sync takes. I'm sure it has something to do with the load shedding. Yeah, just bear with me, please. It's just restarting quickly. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, man, we just had a bit of a break there with the poor network. And yeah, if you guys know, or you're based in South Africa, you know, this is unfortunately our new reality. So I'll just turn off my video for now, just so that we can save bandwidth. Yeah, and hopefully we can still get through. We can still finish the conversation with Thabo Motseki about his body of work. So Thabo, just to bring you in, just to bring you in there, from when we just broke, you know, where we had the intermission. You was explaining to my listeners about your about how you were conceptualizing your family's history. You also was telling us a story about your late grandfather, and yeah, I think we can, if it's possible, we can just pick it up from there, because I definitely want to get into the processes, into the actual artwork, like some of the formal or the technical things about the exhibition. Are you still there with me?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay,
yes.
so yeah, you can just pick it up from there.
All right. Before you cut it up, I was telling you about a night before the opening exhibition. Yeah. I had a conversation with my mother. She was supposed to come and be a part of the speaker, you know, to tell us about her journey. Because the point of me doing that, I wanted to compare the life that she's living right now and whatever that she's experiencing. And then as an old person, she doesn't see what is really a challenge about her life and how her life affects our lives. Because she believes we have to do things in a certain way so that things can be okay, but she doesn't see the bigger picture. So, and then I went and see her a night before so that I can prepare for the opening. Yeah, so we didn't see eye to eye for the fact that I said money is bigger than God, you know. And then I said the show is the point of the exhibition is not about God. It's not about God, money being bigger than God, because Phakedi 535 Phakedi Street is the title of the exhibition. Money is bigger than God. It's a sub theme, you know, where I use money is bigger than God as a reference of how our life is being structured, you know, sure. Because her father had wealth, then he lost all of those things from how he believes, you know, because he gave things without regaining them back, you know. My experience and our family experience, we keep giving. It's the same as when you go to bank. When you keep withdrawing, you'll end up with negative and nothing, you know, and get exhausted and getting tired. So, but she doesn't realize what it's taking her energy out of her. Right now, me personally, I am not Motseki, because I grew up under Motseki's family, but through blood, I am not Motseki. And then she's the only person left in Motseki. She's the only person left because everyone, 535, it's only her representing the entire family. So now I am here to show her what is being a challenge or what's being a problem with our life throughout. It's we believing, but we're not working. We're not creating. We're not restoring the legacy of the family. So the point of the exhibition is that we need each other. We need to check what can we leave for the next coming generation. I had a son, which is I collaborated with in terms of one of the pieces titled Legacy.
Okay,
so and then I have a nephew where I created a portrait, which is a drawing. The title of that portrait is a key, which means now he's older than my son, and then he's the one who will give direction to the entire family, right? So I created the coin. Okay, there's something that disturbing. Can you give me just a few minutes? Then I'll be back. Can you just give me just 2 seconds? Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Yes. So then conversation didn't go very well with my mother because she still believed on the old ways of doing things. So personally, I realized that I am the one who is responsible to change how the generation that is coming to do things different.
Absolutely.
So a portrait of my nephew using a Swati material because my mother was married to a Swati and then he passed away. And then I brought his memories into the space. But my mom's husband, they believe the same way. And then there was a conflict between me, how I see things, and them. So my mom didn't end up being to be part of the exhibition. Then I had to present the entire show by myself and then try to give audience the understanding where I come from with the idea of bringing God into the space. As earlier I said, there is nothing bigger than God, but me personally, I realized that I need money in my life because it's one thing that I've never experienced. What I've experienced, I experienced being with God, with my family. And earlier, I created an exhibition. I was part of a 2-man exhibition. The title was A Life After, where I created one piece titled Lost Identity. It was a thumbprint of a young portrait. I realized that I lost my identity when I was a child because when specific family, you also the schools that shape you. Then I realized that I never been myself throughout my life.
Yeah.
So the reflection of the exhibition, it's trying to relearn, and clean everything, and then try to find myself. And then I believe that I have to connect with God by myself. I have to find God, and He needs to find me. But now with my experience, I was taught how to pray. I was taught who is God. I was taught, like, I never connect. I never have that relationship where I am personally go and seek whose God is. Then I realized that in the process that I've been praying to a wrong God. That is where I am because he doesn't hear me. He never answered my prayers. Throughout my life, I've been hustling. Throughout my life, I've been praying, waiting for the response. There's no response. So for now, I gave myself an opportunity to say, you know what, can I have a relationship with man and see if my life would be totally different, because my mom, she's struggling. My sister, she's struggling. I am struggling. We are homeless, not homeless, landless, or propertyless. No one can be able to assist each other, but the family gave all the wealth to the church and gave all the wealth of the family to the community.
I see the conundrum.
In that investment, there is no return. So what I was questioning in all of that, why are we doing what we're doing? What is the return of what we're investing in? Because we invest so much time, we invest money, we invest ideas, but there's no return. So at this present moment, presenting that exhibition, I was saying, I'm exhausted. I've been giving, I've been, teaching, I've been creating exhibitions, I've been, going to church and contribute ideas. I once did an exhibition with the church where I was assisting them to raise funds to build the church. And that exhibition, it was a community engagement at Museum Africa. From my history, we've been giving as the family. And then what I portrayed in the exhibition, I did, the exhibition came as a vision, and then specifically in the specific gallery, the art room where I showcased it. Then I told the gallery that I had a vision of showing my exhibition here. And then there's a stage. And that stage of the gallery is more like an altar. And I created angels. There is 2 wings. And then in those wings, then I did a metaphor of my family who passed away. It's more like, it's an idea of heaven. This is what they lived for, because I look back what they lived for, they lived nothing. But the only thing that they lived for is to invest for afterlife. And then on that stage, I created where they are. And then I know my family was, a decent family, loving people, amazing. But their focus, it was not in the beneficiary of the family, because right now, whatever that they invested in, there's nothing coming in, to support the current generation. And then if we also continue with the very same behavior, our kids, they will stand here, and experiencing the same problem. I realized when I started a business, when we started a business from nothing, and it doesn't make sense to me, of which there are people who lived before us. You need to prepare a platform so that whatever that you've been through, I don't have to experience the same thing. And this is what I'm looking at right now. What can I create and prepare for the next coming generation? They don't have to start a business as I started a business. They need to now take the business Africa or to the world than understanding how to register business. So what I experience is that, and I look at my mom, invested in, it doesn't give back, So the exhibition is a reflection of the family in the relationship with God and with the relationship with man. Are you still there, sir?
My brother, I'm here. Your story is moving. I don't think I've ever come across an art exhibition that is so deep and that personal. Actually, I just wanna say salute to being that honest. I can feel your pain. I'm sitting like miles away, and I can feel it. I can also see exactly where you're coming from and where you're going to. And I totally agree with you that like we need something. We can't make the same mistakes that that the previous generation made.
Yes.
Shit, man, your show is heavy, bro. Your show is heavy. The concept is just. I feel so many people need to hear the story because I feel so many people can relate to it.
Yes.
Like
And one other thing that,
it's just
as you saying
incredible.
that, as you saying, the exhibition is heavy. I am telling you, uh, I've been hustling. Like I will just personalize this on my site, But the journey, it also affect my business partner, Mlefe. Because when we were supposed to create this exhibition, we had to move out of the space, you know.
Yeah,
Uh, we moved in three spaces in 1 year. And then when we about to, win, something happened. So we prepared the space. We worked for like from last year December till now. We only worked for 5 months. So we just moved into a new space at the moment because the space was taken away from us last year September. Then we had to prepare for a new space from September to December. Currently, we just moved into the new space. And at the
where's
same
the
time, I have
where's
an
the
exhibition,
where's the new space?
Constitution Hill, Transvaal. We were operating from the basement. So we worked for 5 months. Then after 5 months, we had to stop and they gave us a new space where we had to start renovating the space, paint. And then it was taking the time away from me creating
Yeah,
the work for the exhibition.
yeah,
So January, the gallery, when they checked, I only created one sculpture to show the idea of the sculpture I wanted to present. But we didn't have even money to buy material for me to prepare this exhibition, right? So my business partner asked, do you still want to continue with an exhibition? I said, yes, because exhibition has to happen, And then it wasn't a spiritual, this exhibition, it wasn't a spiritual thing. I feel like there is someone who is running this show, like spiritual. Because I don't know how the exhibition happened. I didn't have material to buy. I needed about 4,000 to buy material. I created all. I had to, be find a way to come up with a way of creating these artworks. So I submitted the last piece a day before exhibition. And I kept telling my business partner that the exhibition created itself. It has to happen. I don't know how it happened.
shit.
There was so much pressure. I didn't have money, but it was a spiritual process. If I can tell you how I found materials to create this body of work, instead of using paper, I used canvas. I converted a print into a painting. I had wood, then I had to convert that wood into a sculpture. And I had to move a washing line at home and then use that line, a wire, to create the wings. So there
Wow.
was the wings, there's an installation, there is the exhibition is amazing if you can see it, but I created that show out of nothing. Then the exhibition is the reflections of what I'm going through. Right now, I can tell you the story.
Sorry, we just paused there for a little while, but
Yes,
continue, please continue.
yes. So, and then one of the pieces that I created, it's a sculpture about my sister, reflecting her struggle because she was kidnapped, you know, as a child.
Jesus.
And then I created a sculpture about my mom, which is reflecting 5 generations. And then my relationship with me and my mom, what she went through, it's hectic, right? Because she disappeared for about 6 to 7 years, not knowing where she is. And then
Wow.
I was still a child by that time. When I still in the primary, moving to high school, I had to find a school by myself. I had to be a parent when I was a child. my mom got a prophecy of saying she will suffer for 20 years. And it exactly happened. Spiritually, financially, health-wise, she'd been there. When she came back, she was still, trying to recover from all of that. And then the prophecy said she needs to find a space in the church. Then she will heal. And this is what happened. Health-wise, she became better. Financially, she's still struggling. She's one of the person who went through the most, and she's getting old. That journey impacted to us,
Yeah.
And then it gave me that moment to say, wait a minute, what exactly are we doing? Because everything that we've been doing is not working for us. And then that's when the idea of me reflecting back to God and say, probably we are in the wrong space. Maybe we bring a wrong God. Maybe he doesn't even hear us the way we pray. And now, when I look at what money can do for the family right now, I see the money as the solution, because it will give us access, it will give us option, and it will give us freedom. Of which all of these three things we don't have at this point. We've been in the one space forever, but we always in the God position. But now we don't see solution. Like I've been working hard, as I'm saying, and I hustled since I was a child until now. I never find peace. I never relaxed my life. I never said, you know what, let me get the breathe. Also after the exhibition, after I gave what I gave to create the gift. So you need to get something. Maybe going somewhere to relax. I didn't even have that kind of a mind. I don't have that kind of a luxury, So now I am questioning my life at this present moment and say, nothing worked for the family. 5 generations later, we're still experiencing the same thing, right? And then my mom, she still want to go on with the very same culture. And I'm questioning that. And then now I am now infected, like the society don't understand my family don't understand where I am. They don't understand why 535 Phakedi Street is the house that my grandfather left for their kids, for his kids. Are you still with me, sir?
I am.
Yes.
So, I am. Please.
Yes. What is amazing about the house, 535 house, is that everyone who lived in that house, they inherited that house and passes to the next.
Yeah.
And then it looks like the house is the legacy and is the wealth, because my mom, she's the only person left. She wants to pass that house to me. And I said, guys, if you feel like there's a need of passing the house from generation to generation, why don't you create a proper wealth? Why don't you create a proper legacy? Because all of you, not building anything, you're not creating anything. The only thing that you're gonna leave behind is the house. And I said, can you do better than that? And then now, this is where the conflict comes in. And I said, this is how we've been doing things as a family, because no one is agreeing with what I'm saying. But I created the coin piece that I created of myself. It's outside the gallery, of which I'm the only person who is different from everyone, and then heading into a different direction. And that coin, it's written Motseki's Trust. So the Motseki Trust, it's where now everything has to start changing. So the exhibition is very personal, and I believe it's not me who created the exhibition. It was a giving. It's a spiritual thing, and the opening, because I was not sure about came you doubt, but continue with the show. Sir.
My brother, this is my 112th episode that I'm recording here. I think this episode with you is by far the deepest I've had here and most personal. I'm seriously moved by what you said on multiple levels, and I'm actually quite inspired. Yeah, I'm I'm seriously moved by what you said, man. Geez, Thabo, I wanted to talk about like the process and stuff, but I think you've said, I think how you explained everything, I don't even, I don't see the need to go look at that. Just to all my listeners, like, please go and view this body of work. It's showing at the art room in Parkhurst. Can you just tell us from when to where is it showing? Because I know you've got a walkabout on Saturday, on the 22nd, right?
Yes, tomorrow. Yes, it's tomorrow.
Yeah. How long
Yes.
will the show be up for? And where can is there a digital version and so forth? Where else can people view the body of the work?
All right. The exhibition, it will run until 30th of April, which is this month.
Okay.
And I am planning to take this exhibition to 5:35. Because I should have went home and consult, because it was more like a ceremony and exhibition,
I can imagine.
because yes, because it has all the elements that represent home and that represent ancestral, the cup. I also shown the cup that they were using. There is a bottle that I created is next to the chair. That bottle is covered by a blanket, and then that it was when we didn't have a fridge during those time. Then we were pouring water in that and put it under the tree, and then the water will become colder. And then my grandfather taught us that. So that it was bringing all the element and all the memories into the space. And then the material that I used, it's situation. And then there is a one big print that I created. The title of that is a traditional wedding. It's my wife. I portray my wife, but it's a representation of my grandmother, because my grandmother, she was the person who was wearing situation all the time. So she's the my wife. She's the representation of my grand. When we look at her, she has the same energy. She has the same love. She has the same support. So I keep calling her me, but she doesn't know why I'm saying that. But I'm emphasizing the point of you are our grandmother. You brought that life, brought that energy, brought her, because she was the person who brought the family together. Because after she passed away, and we never get in, it was just scattered. So, but now through my wife, it's a resemblance of the peace, resemblance of love, hope, because she's still young. And then we have a young, beautiful baby boy who is very smart. That I believe that we got him through ancestral, because if I can also tell you a little bit story about that. After 4 months, after 4 years, after 3 years, we got married with my wife. We're not getting a baby. Then I took my wife and said, let's go home. Because we got married in Joburg, never went home. Let's go and visit graveyard and see my grandmother and my grandfather and come back to Joburg. And we did that. A week after, she became pregnant, and then with a baby boy. So with the exhibition, it's also the very same thing that I should have consulted earlier before even opening the exhibition. But now, to make things right, I have to take the exhibition and showcase at home at 5:35.
Yeah, man.
And through the exhibition, it was a voice, because no one wanted to listen to what I'm saying. It felt like I'm crazy, you know. But exhibition, you are forced now to engage the work. You are engaged to come into the space and then listen, pay attention. So I used an exhibition as a communication tool to my family. And then when you get to the gallery, because there is a house number outside, that coin, it has 535, which is a house number. When you enter into the gallery, you entering into 535. I converted the gallery into a house. So for that few minutes, for a few moments, you were in the exhibition. So nothing was personal to the public or to the viewers, but they were there to witness what's really going on in 535 home. What is the relationship between God and money in 535? Because the point of money, it's one thing that we never spoke about. We never spoke about the money. We never learned about the money. We never explore what money is. And I realized that the culture is informed by poverty because we embrace the culture, and it's a good thing that came from the poverty. And what I'm saying is, it has to stop now, and it has to stop through me. And then I said, after the exhibition, I don't want anyone to come and say and complain and say, what did you do when you're still alive? I lived the exhibition as a legacy. All my kids, my nephew, they'll reflect the exhibition and say, this is what I left behind. And that exhibition carries so much message, so much directions. So if I'm no longer here, the exhibition, it will give them direction. It will always become that a sculpture. Exhibition on its own is a sculpture where everyone will reflect back and say, this is what he said. Even if now they don't hear me right now, they don't even understand, but it will always be memorable and say, but this is what he said. My son, when you grow up, you'll always say, but this is what he said. It will always be in his mind. When we created the piece, he created a house and me and the mother and the cross around that, Then I created a thumbprint on the piece, it's just small. So it's titled Legacy. So I wanted him to reflect from that piece when he grew up, because I don't know if I'll recover. We worked hard. I don't even have a hope anymore, because I don't know where to look. I've done everything. I prayed, I worked, I collaborated. I did my best. Beyond this, it's beyond my control. I don't think there's anything that I can do rather than what I've done already. So, the exhibition is the legacy. Yes.
My brother, this is, like I said, man, your story is just incredible. I'm actually almost kind of lost for words. It's just incredible. I think you're probably one of the bravest cats that I've spoken to, definitely this year. I'm inspired, my king. I really am. Like, I can actually see parts of my life reflected in what you are saying. It's crazy. I think we're actually quite similar in some regard. It's just unbelievable, man. And to still, one thing, just for the listeners who was not actually a visual artist, to put together a body of work and not be inspired is very difficult. I've got artwork lying over here that's there since January, and I just don't have no motivation. I'm doing other stuff and working on my business and stuff, but I just think your story is incredible, my brother. I just wish you all the best with it. I know that on my side, I'll put together this episode. If load shedding doesn't catch me, I'll put this thing together tonight and I'll publish it on the 22nd on Saturday, or definitely over the weekend. I just got a notification here saying my lights is gonna go off soon. And I'll push it. I think your story is wow.
Thank you.
I don't know what else to say, my brother. I just think your technical work's outstanding. So there's the conceptual side to it, but there's also the
yes. So just to add on that, I am happy about this platform because this platform is an extension of the exhibition. As you were asking, where people can find this, they can find this content in this platform because this is also continuity of the exhibition, And then there are people who didn't come and see the opening because they didn't understand the meaning of the exhibition, But there was those who were brave to come and say, I wanted to understand why I'm saying money is bigger than God. And I said, no, I didn't say money is bigger than God. I said 535 Phakedi Street. Money is bigger than God. It changes everything. So people, they don't listen, and they don't pay attention.
Yeah,
what they focus on, we're always negative, and then I think it's how we're shaped, but I never said money is bigger than God. I said 535 Phakedi Street. Money is bigger than God. I put that statement into a context. I removed from the people and put it into 535. So people who came, they understood, and then they were like, wow, and they even resonate with my story because of it goes to all our household,
It does.
So, but now the walkabout is to give other people an opportunity to engage, because exhibition, it's about, I wanted people to be open-minded, So, because I keep saying, I am not responsible for your faith. Whatever that I'm saying, it has nothing to do with what you believe in. If you are strong and content about what you believe in, whatever that I'm going to say is not going to move you or shake you, because I am not going to give you direction how you should believe. So, but I have the right to voice out how I feel, So now I got into a point whereby now I am fearless, because I believe God, the way God was portrayed like a human, where you can easily engage with him. You can give him a feedback, you can criticize him. Because now what I'm saying is that God, there's a competition. Money is taking control of your world, and then do something about this, because everything that is happening is beyond our control, as a human, we took control of what God created. But now the exhibition and this conversation is a prayer to me, and say, I am frustrated. I know there are other people who are frustrated as me. I grew up under poverty, and I'm still in the poverty. And then it doesn't make sense for me to live my life like that. I came to live, but not to, to suffer. So I need to explore the world. I need to explore life. I need to understand what life is, rather than my journey directed me towards struggle. If this is my what you call a purpose, or it's my journey, or why is it informed by poverty? It doesn't make sense. Why, as all human, our life doesn't balance? Because our journey needs to have a certain platform whereby our journey starts from here, and then either you take right or left. But it's similar to everyone. But there's other people, life is advantage to them, others it's disadvantage. But I cannot say it's my purpose to start my journey from a negative side of life. And then one other thing that I said, I never asked to live where I have to beg to live. You understand? I need to live. I don't have to beg. So I've been given this opportunity to live. Can I just live? Not to try to find life and then to hustle. Hustling is not the right thing. Hustling came from the idea of poverty. All of our culture, the way we live, is not right. For me, I'm saying no to that. My point is, I just want to live. I'm raising this point that money can change my life at this present moment. And then we know for a fact, like, money is controlling the world.
Yep.
There's one thing that you need to understand, Seth. God created land with food and minerals, and everything within the land is for the human to live from, not to buy. He never created man because he created things that doesn't need man. He created land and food. Land and food you don't, because no one owns anything. That's my take in all of this. Money is a distraction. Money, it's part of a man-made thing. It's not how God planned life to be the way it is. But the way I'm seeing, the money is controlling the world, and then they're controlling us. So now I'm in the position of saying, what, I am tired. I'm literally tired, even if I can die tomorrow, because I don't know what I'm living for. I'm seeing my mom suffering. I'm seeing my sister suffering. I'm seeing myself. It's what I know. I don't know the other side of life. This is the only life that I know. Can you just give me $1 million and experience that life of money? Then you come and have conversation and say, you know what, money is great, but I never been there. I've been in the poverty position. So I am tired with it. I've been in the religious Christians God space. This is where I am right now. There's nothing good that I can take from it and say, you know what, I am not happy about my life. And then I'm not gonna pretend and say life is good. And every day I am waking up and I'm thankful life. No, I'm not thanking life, because I'm thinking pain. It's pain. I'm going through so much. I've been starting businesses, like right now I'm matured in terms of how my approach, and other people like yourself, you saying I'm the inspiration. People keep saying that I'm the inspiration. I'm holding all of this because I really want to change the nature of my family, the nature of people who are looking up to me, people who follows me. I have that responsibility. That is why I've been given this opportunity to be an artist, and also being an artist, I feel like the journey, it was also diverted in me becoming an artist because of my life. I was not an artist, I thought I'm going to be an accountant. And then my life stopped when I was in hospital. Then from all that change, then I became an artist. I think I was a chosen one, to absorb all this pain, and then to be honest about living, I'm honest about everything. That's why sometimes I become so emotional, because I'm not pretending. Everywhere I am, I'm that particular person. So, but right now, I want maybe my kids, they will listen to this one day. The next coming generation, they will listen to this, because sometimes you want to hear the voice of someone that you believe in, like ancestral. Right now, I feel like I can hear from my grandfather saying something and say, you know what, do this. But right now, I'm with this platform, I'm saying this is what you need to do. You need to rebuild. We need to build, because there is nothing when you wake. My mom asked me, why don't you go and find a job? And say, and what? After getting a job, because I am not building anything. I had to go through this because this is a pain, it's a journey, it will take time. But now, right now, there is a legacy already that I lived from the family, which is Thabo Motseki. I said, even if it's not gonna be materialized, what I'm doing right now, but Thabo Motseki, my kids will live from that. It's what I built at this present moment. So even if I didn't build a shop or a big gallery, but I built it, Thabo Motseki, this is what I'm going to leave behind. So it's a reflection of those who lived before me, and say, what did you leave for us to live from? Nothing. So can you continue the very same attitude? No. What must we do? Let's start, changing our attitude, So yeah.
But I just must come in there, my brother. We're actually running out of time there. Like I said, this was absolutely, I'm actually lost for words there. My brother, thanks for sharing your story on this platform. It moved me. Thanks for sharing your story. Thank you for being brave and for keeping the creativity going. Somebody once told me that when you're working, you don't know who else is looking at you. I'm moved, my brother. Thanks a lot, man. I will let you know as soon as the story goes live, as soon as I publish it. And thanks for being cool, man. We actually had 3 takes. And we worked through the entire load shedding thing, which also speaks volumes to what you were saying. You actually spoke over the load, the poor network. Like you're saying, there's other forces involved here. My brother, I wish you a blessed Friday and the rest of your day. And I'll be in touch via WhatsApp. But I have to wrap it up here, unfortunately. And man, all the best for the exhibition. Thanks for coming through, my brother.
Thank you so much, sir. And what happened today is part of the process. It's part of the exhibition because the exhibition is not over.
I'm glad you shared. I'm blessed that you shared it on here. I'm not often without words. So my king, thanks, man. Have a blessed Friday. One love.
Yes. Can I show you a little bit of the studio? Just one.
We can. Yeah. Let's go. I mean, we'll Zoom will tell me when the time is up.
Yes, just this is our side of this is our printing space.